Hi, GM.
GGM.
Look at us in this awesome little set that we have. That we travel all around for this podcast, and so we're kind of always in somewhere new. And today we are in the beautiful city of Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's right.
Right behind me, through this window back there, you guys can see Lucas Oil Stadium. We are here in town for VeeCon, and so all of today's in this week's live streams with Nouns on the Air will be here live from Indy for the VeeCon awesome event that's going to go down. We are going to cover all of that. GM to everybody, welcome back to the live stream. This is Nouns on the Air with Aubtoshi. We have Cheffo here. We usually have like this separate thing going on, but today it's really cool to finally have this kind of first time like live in studio guest experience. How does it feel?
It feels so serious. No, it doesn't. I think this is great. It's awesome. We do talk to each other like this IRL, so I figure we can do it here on the podcast.
Yes, and it'll be awesome because we get to be here with you guys. And so, as you guys know, chat is always open and available. We love hearing from you guys. We hope you're having an amazing Thursday morning or Friday evening, just depending on where you are in the world. We are happy to be here. As you guys know, we go live every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But right now, we are East Coast. Well, it's not the coast. We're not anywhere near the coast, but we are apparently like right on the timeline for EST. So it is 1 p.m. where we are. Happy first day before VeeCon. There's going to be events going down today. We have already gotten to meet a lot of the people here. We were at pre-con. Yes, the VeeGens, you guys.
Aubtoshi.
You shouldn't have taught me that word, you guys. That's so fun.
They're a lot of fun, those VeeGens.
They are so much fun. Oh, GM Malcolm's World is joining us today. Hi, how's it going? You and I have to talk, sir, and I'm excited to do so. I've been loving the content that you're doing, OTG, on the ground, all over Africa. I think it's super special, and I'm excited to see how we can further that. VeeCon, man, you guys, I need you to know that last night, there was a pre-con, so it's just a small event that was happening before. Some awesome people were there, people that we've seen across the world, friends from South by Southwest, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say South by Southwest, because I was thinking of the logo.
It's going to be one of those days.
It's going to be one of those days,
It's going to be one
guys.
of those days, Aubtoshi. Don't worry about it. Shake it off.
Because what I was trying to get to was pre-con was like, not like so wild and crazy, but we were able to hang out with some people afterwards. And just before the event even started, I've already karaoke'd like
in a living room.
And yeah, and by karaoke I just mean singing loudly, and didn't even realize I was doing that until someone later was like, "I liked your singing in there." I'm like, "Oh,
don't worry, I have it all on video."
You guys, the VeeGens, we love VeeCon, VeeFriends, people. This seems like what I'm getting from it. This is my first VeeCon. This is your first VeeCon?
First VeeCon.
First VeeCon. It feels like a Disney World here of DJs, but it's a whole different type. Like the VeeFriends community feels so tight knit. This is obviously like the main event for the year for holders. They've flown in from far and wide to be here, and it seems like they're all like really excited to see each other, just like how it is in our other groups where we're online talking to each other all day.
Yeah, for sure. They know what everyone has going on and like what everyone's skill set is and what people are bringing to the event, and they've planned parties and they've planned house parties, and
yes, they're all like everyone's staying like in big groups together.
It's planned pretty well.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
VeeFriends, Gary V, congrats to you. Congrats to the entire team that's volunteering and that's working at the stadium. I know that check-ins are starting to happen. There is another event tonight. I think Busta Rhymes
That's right.
is going to be performing for people. Huge shout out to you guys because it does feel very inclusive. Everyone's in VeeFriends merch. Like, I really think that this is going to be a great lesson in community.
You've got a T-shirt.
Yes, this is from, oh my God.
Well, yes, let's talk about this, but you also have a VeeFriends T-shirt that you sent to the printer.
Sent it to the printer. There's going to be exclusive Nouns OTG VeeCon merch that we are going to hand out along with Noggles. We have tons of paper Noggles here, physical Noggles. Thank you, Modi. Shout out, Modi. But this shirt has a great story behind it.
Yeah, the barbershop.
The barbershop, you guys. Shout out barbershop. They're V friends. They're awesome. They're doing like haircuts up here for everybody. They're really incredible. And I actually
we're going to learn a lot more about
traded
them.
for this.
We're going to learn more about them. You did a impromptu
I did an
trade.
impromptu trade. Okay, everyone here, this is part of that whole community thing. I even also was wearing a jacket last night with some Nouns pins on it. A new friend of ours had a beanie and was already wearing Noggles. So of course, like at the event, I'm like, hello. Yes.
Across the room.
That's what's so iconic about these Noggles that you guys see everywhere. Like
I
they're
thought
so
that
recognizable.
I thought that you had handed him those or whatever.
No.
Yeah, and then like so I'm like, okay, cool. And so I go up and I start filming him. He was out there like putting them on people and all that.
Yes.
And then I go and start filming him. And then you came up and realized that you hadn't met him yet. And I'm like, oh wow, like he had his own Noggles.
Yes, and he was kind of like hyping up the photo area. So there is a lot of photos from the event from last night with Noggles on them.
He was the photo man, the photo area hype man.
Photo area hype man.
Sure.
We'll go through some of those photos in a second here. So much fun. I did trade. I
don't feel bad about it.
I don't feel bad. I feel so good about it. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, I'm actually hyper impressed with how long I've been able to hang on to my big plastic, Big Shot Toy Works Noggles. Like we've really been riding hard with those ones. The red ones,
they ride hard.
The red ones left us a little bit ago, probably only a month ago, during an event that was happening. But I had those for like a year. And so I'm highly impressed in how long we had those, especially because sometimes they just get swiped. People like them. It's okay. No big deal. I had a pair swiped at NFT Paris, but my bad. I was like, just had them on the desk that we were doing interviews in. And, you know, you can't really like fault anybody. They are so cool. And so I will definitely be needing another set of Noggles, but it was really cool because last night's trade with our friend who was hyping the photo booth, I traded a Nouns pin for a cool like Bored Ape pin. That was really fun, and like people came up and recognized then the pin that was traded to me. Then I traded for this awesome barbershop shirt, some Noggles, but for me, like that trade-off too, like kind of introduced us to a whole new group of people, like in a community. Everybody already knows that if they see me at the Lucas Oil Stadium to scream at me for Noggles, which is also really exciting.
You had an impressive amount stuffed in your pockets.
Yes, this is true. We met up with Mackie, who's we're going to see too, gave him some Noggles.
Maybe you need to incorporate cargo pants as part of your wardrobe. Just stuff those things full of Noggles.
Yeah, there's the Noun lady again. What is she up to with those balloon pants? Like, what is she carrying and sneaking in to be gone?
So much bigger when she got here, and now everyone has Noggles. How did that happen?
That is what it is like when we are out at these events.
No, they go
so
quickly.
Fun.
They like literally go quickly.
Stickers. Everyone here, I've been seeing posts of people like with awesome stickers. I can't wait to like get these shirts ready for everybody. It's definitely feeling like not only like an NFT sort of conference here, it's feeling like something special. It feels so special.
Like kind of like a God, I hope I don't. A little bit like a corporate retreat, but it's just like not corporate in that sense.
But yeah, but merch.
But like merch and other communities
and like artists.
And yeah.
We'll go over the speaker list today too, sort of when we get into that part of the show. But there are specific people that I'm really excited to see. I was telling people last night, like, this is going to sound crazy, but the person I'm most excited to see is Maureen Kelly, the CEO of Tarte Cosmetics.
Gosh,
I'm so excited. Guess what I saw this morning?
What? Who did?
Avery Vayner3. Shout out Avery.
Oh,
I saw she tweeted. I don't even know if I was able to like the tweet or something, but I saw it and was just like nearly screamed. Maureen Kelly was giving out Tarte Cosmetic bags with a little note to all the women who were speaking on stage, being like, "Good luck. You're gonna shine on stage and stuff." Queen Maureen, I am dying to be like an NFT crypto Tarte Cosmetics girly.
Someone has to do it, Aubtoshi. I think
I'm not like a crazy makeup person. Clearly, you guys are seeing that right now. But I do like love what they're doing with Tarte and the brand and the influencer trips.
Now, would you do more makeup? Like if you were doing the tart thing, is it just because you don't know how to do it?
Oh, sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
I just imagine like coming to like the stream one day, just being like full blown makeup and like
I mean, you don't have to do
you'd
it
be
like
like
that.
so terrified.
You don't have to do it like that.
No, I do like a natural. Okay, I got the natural thing, but I love the liner. I love that cat eye. I have mascara. Do that. I like some gloss. Like this could be Tarte. This could be you.
It's not an ad, but
I'm actually just gonna do that. I'm just gonna start
you should
bringing Tarte and like have the cosmetics just out. Shout out Tarte every single day. Speaking of sponsors, what a great time to talk about nouns. Wait, hold on. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see if we're centered on here. Oh, kind of. Hi.
Hello.
Nouns. Nouns.wtf. Nouns is a DAO. There's a lot of DAO sort of talk happening here. I'm so sorry. I'm this camera here. There's a lot of DAO talk happening here as well because everybody in the VeeCon, Friends community knows about that. There is like a VDAO. But our show here in live stream is sponsored by Nouns DAO. And so Nouns DAO has an auction every day. Look at this little guy. Look at this little racer rat.
Oh my goodness.
So cute.
That's super
the proceeds
cute.
from this auction are going to go into the treasury. And as you guys know, if you tune into this stream, the treasury gets sent out to builders and creators. And to do that, you have to submit a proposal. And so a lot of our live streams, we've been covering sort of the proposals that are coming back. I'm excited about this NFT Brazil version 2 proposal. We talked about that last week. Their other proposal, they did choose to cancel their prop and then come back and reiterate. So we can kind of go over props that are happening here. But if you want to learn more about my specific prop and why we're here with the live stream and what we do with nouns, you would go to nouns.wtf/vote/206. So we're prop 206.
Again, like just being out at these things last night, I mean, I probably pulled up the DAO page like 3 times, I would say, like at that party, and like would just say, okay, here's the DAO page. This is what a proposal looks like. This is what a treasury looks like. And it just clicks at this point, like especially when you're, when you're in a crowd of people kind of like this that are smart and, we talked about this. Like I feel like the VeeFriends crowd is very entrepreneurial. I think that's kind of like the spirit that Gary vibes on.
Yes.
And so I think everyone here vibes on that. Like people are literally trying to get out there and get it. And
it's so cool to
see. It's really cool.
And everyone's so supportive of each other.
When there's a funding conversation, people's ears like legit perk up because entrepreneurs need funding to build.
Yes. And huge shout out to Gary V. I think it's very clear from even knowing about Gary's story. We can watch about how VeeFriends kind of came about here.
We should find like a really old video of Gary and watch that.
Yes. But I was going to say, shout out Gary V. There are so many people in this NFT world that have been onboarded because of you. It's so clear when you get to meet people in person. And those were conversations we were also having last night of how many people has one person and then the team that's kind of formed behind him. How many have they onboarded into this industry? I would love some facts on that because this community alone.
And we don't have the facts. This is not an endorsement, but there is a conversation that perhaps Gary and his team owns a noun or.
Well, they did help with the Bud Light Next Super Bowl commercial.
And I know they made some Noggles at one point.
If you're familiar with nouns, one of the bigger things that had happened for nouns, not this last Super Bowl, shout out Rihanna, but the Super Bowl before that, the year before, there was like all of this hype. Were people going to come out in NFT merch and all this stuff? Like, was crypto going to be talked about? And no celebrities had kind of done anything, but there was a Bud Light Next commercial for their NFT, Bud Light. It was a really cool commercial, but in it, you'll see blue Noggles on the Mona Lisa. So that was pretty epic. And I know that the Vayner team helped put that together.
Yeah, that is epic if you really think about it. I mean, Noggles on the Mona Lisa on a Super Bowl ad, like
so cool.
Dude,
and it was really cool because it was at this time where like the Noggles were just there. they were used because of CC0. Anyone can use the nouns assets. And like it didn't even say anything about nouns. So it's like if you know kind of situation. Ooh. I don't know why I have so many air bubbles in here. I haven't even cracked open
What are you cracking?
our water for the day.
What's our water for the day?
Waterloo sparkling water lemon lime.
I like the Waterloos, actually. They're good.
Do you want to crack yours?
Yeah, I'll crack mine.
We always
you know, Aubtoshi.
always looking for that water sponsor. This could be you. Ready? Let's give them a nice.
Let's do this right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Careful.
Do you like water? Do you also need it to survive? Why don't you try some Waterloo sparkling water?
I like these
lemon and lime.
They're BPA free.
Mm.
That's one of the reasons why I buy them. And yeah, they're pretty like crispy.
Well, if I didn't have air bubbles before or enough of them, I will definitely have that now. We kind of always jokingly shout out water sponsors, but
I'm down.
We're drinking water on the streams, guys.
Yeah, we're out here.
If you have an NFT water company, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Why haven't you reached out yet? We're ready. You know, it's really cool.
I feel better now.
I do too. It's really cool having this live stream here while we're at VeeCon. It was one of the events I was really looking forward to as a part of our prop. Not only do we do the live stream for the prop, but we go to over 18 events this year. We've had like our first leg is done, like our first like third of the events. We've had some incredible experiences there. And now, as you'll see, as we're traveling around, we are on this like next leg of events, like the next 5 or 6 that are like kind of right in a row and back to back. So every single week while we're here, you guys will see us going to different places. But VeeCon, I was so excited for. Yeah.
The comments are on my head.
The comment. Oh my God. No, I'm so sorry.
Let me see if I can peek through them real quickly.
Has it been like that the whole
I guess it's probably been like that the whole time.
Malcolm.
Well, Malcolm, you got to look at Cheffo now. Like I said, it's going to be one of those days, folks. This is live from VeeCon.
We've never done this setup before where we could do like this dual thing, and I was so excited for it. I thought I had everything. There, you look so good. There you are.
Oh
Hi.
My goodness,
let's do it. Hey, let's come back. GM Cheffo.
Why, hello, GM.
It's awesome to see your face. Oh my God, that is so funny. Did you just notice that?
Yeah,
it literally was blocking your entire body. Okay. This is what happens when you hang out with Vegans. I really honestly thought I had the whole thing going for this double thing, but
okay.
Good to see you.
We'll blame it on the Vegans.
It's good to see you. Next time, don't be afraid to just be like, excuse me, can you fix that? The other funny thing is like the angle of like the window capture. Like, so when we are looking online, it's just like coming like right up in my face. But Malcolm is laughing. Malcolm, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you let us know?
Hey,
this is what the chat's for,
it's
guys.
Not his responsibility.
I know. It's not your responsibility.
People have too many things on their plate, Aubtoshi.
I know.
Don't add to it.
Hey, I'm just showing you guys the power that you have in the chat. If you guys are watching us on Twitter or LinkedIn, even where this is streaming, you guys can chat right in there too. But I love the YouTube channel. 150 subscribers, by the way. Thank you guys so much. I will just keep getting excited for every little tick that thing goes up. Every one new subscriber is going to get an air horn. I really love and have been wanting to build my YouTube channel. So thank you guys.
Like 150 air horns.
150 air horns. What was I saying? Oh, what I was trying to say before I realized that you've been covered by the comments this entire time. Was that of all the events we're going to, of the 18, I obviously have like my favorites and ones that I was really excited to see, but VeeCon was one of them. We have been watching Gary build in the space for a long time, and you got to check out like one of his events. Like I didn't get to come last year and heard it was amazing. We're excited to be here.
He's also kind of really on the forefront when it comes to NFT ticketing.
Yes.
Using the NFTs for thousands of tickets at a stadium with like online registration via the NFT. I know that there's probably more than one group doing that at this point, but he has been doing that, and he's been talking about that as well. So it's really great to it's great to always be a part of like that technological layer at these events, and to be around people that know how to use that technology. So you're not like waiting in line while someone's like having to be explained what's going on or something like this. Like people literally come with their wallets like ready to go. Like they're just ready, you know, or
the app.
They've done the app, or they've
it shows like how
connected everything.
That people should be pushing that, because like if this was someone's first NFT, if their VeeFriend, you know, through ticketing,
it's all about explainer videos for me. I mean, this world is just going to take off in such different ways as people continue to really push the quality of the explainer videos and the interfaces that are teaching people how to do these things. Eventually, we'll get to a point where it'll be like using a cell phone, where everyone from a 5-year-old to a 90-year-old knows how to use it. But that will take a while, and that will take like really clear voices to explain it. So hopefully we can be one of them. I know that you were talking about doing an explainer video for the prop house, I think.
Yes. There's awesome new houses in the prop house. And so I thought it'd be cool to kind of just do like a trial run of like a 2-minute video for people, because last week on the stream, we did like a prop house deep dive. And I've been like sending that video out to people and like, what's prop house? I'm like, here, we did a 2-hour live stream. Check it out when you have time. I know it's a long watch. And people are like, yeah, that's too much for me. Some people did watch it. Thank you guys so much for doing that. If you are very interested in prop house, it's a great stream that we did. We talk about the first ever prop that made prop house. We talk about the team behind it. We go through some of the houses and like look at examples of passing props. And we looked at the other houses that have formed in this community. Prop house is where both of us started within the Nouns community. And so it's obviously like very special and important to us. And it is a great onboarding tool, just like how Gary's using NFT ticketing. It's a great onboarding tool for people in the community, because all you need is a wallet address to submit a prop. And then it's your onboarding into like seeing this sort of like funding side of NFTs and projects and stuff too, and what it means to be a community.
It's a really good tool for communities, because it's also a reputation builder. You know, when you're funded, generally speaking, especially in prop house, it's like a single amount, a one-time thing. Maybe there's more than one winner, but it's not necessarily like props that have multi-sigs with teams that are, you know, putting funds out in different time intervals, or like Nouns stream that I have to look at that. I heard that it was having trouble passing or something. I don't know.
I think it passed.
Did it really?
A couple of things passed, yes.
We'll have to look at that, but Prop House is amazing because it really, for people who are new to the ecosystem, you can come in day one. No one can have ever heard of you. Put your idea in. Maybe you win, and then if you win, you get the money, and you get to execute in a trustless manner. And it really, at that point, comes down to like, you know, are you going to put in, you know, the steps to fulfill your prop and stick to your timeline that you told everyone that you would do. And within that, you know, then you've done that. You are now literally in the Nouns ecosystem. You can literally join the Nouncil at that point. You have been funded, even if it's micro funding. You've built something, you've shipped it, you've delivered it, you've showed up. You are literally allowed at that point to apply to be in the Nouncil.
What I was going to say, like when you were saying, you know, if you pass, like even if you don't pass, there's a lot of benefits because you're community building, you're meeting all the holders at that point.
And it's all locked on blockchain. So it's just like, dude, it's never going away. The same way that, you know, we were able to go back and like look at those items that from the first rounds, like these things will be accessible. And so it really does give people, it's like your own little Nouns resume in a way.
Yeah. It's just such a good tool. It's one of, like, in my opinion, more beneficial things to come out of Nouns because it continues to bring new people in. It continues to, even if like it's going to be a non-Nouns related house that's in Prop House.
Well, you don't have to
it's
buy
Nounish.
you don't have to buy anything. You know, like
Yes.
even if you look at, you know, Lils are designed to be an easier entry point for Nouns. They still have a reserve price, and you know it's out of some people's price range. If you look at even food Nouns, like you know, typically are like 0.01. You know, that is even with gas and things these days, like out of people's price range. And so, yes, Prop House is amazing. You can
because you don't have to purchase anything to participate.
Can literally have, I'm pretty sure, 0 ETH. I don't, because it's like a gasless transactions, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and
it's pretty spectacular.
Gasless to vote as well.
Yeah, it's definitely gasless to vote.
So you don't need a token to participate and like put a prop up, but you do need to be a holder of some token depending on whatever the house is if to vote.
Yep.
And so for the Nouns house, it's actual Nouns holders get to vote on those props. The community completely shows up for that, and they've done other cool, exciting things with the experiment, like saying like holding houses for people to pitch for prop house votes for holders. I know like Joel Cares has like a batch of prop house votes like that he votes on because of that too. So you do have to hold a token for certain things. Some houses, it's a token that already exists, such as Nouns. Other houses, people make voting tokens, just like the new Turbo house that's up. So we can talk about all that later too. But I am just like looking at the screen, and I just think it's the funniest thing. I'm so sorry.
Can you see the stadium a little bit?
Yes, that building that's like directly that is Lucas Oil Stadium, you guys.
So cool.
We couldn't be any closer if we tried. That is another thing that the whole VeeFriends team has done a really great job of. I was actually seeing tweets of people. There are people that are actually closer. There's like hotels directly across the street. Someone was like, I couldn't be closer to it. Like they walked out of the hotel and there it was. VeeFriends had like these group packages for hotels. And so they also did a really good job of keeping everybody kind of together and close.
Well, I mean, it's a package deal for cities like Indianapolis and stuff like that, you know, and they, you know, they make deals on hotels and stadiums and all this. And, you know, there's probably like a lot of moving parts. Lots of, you know, money up front, the commitments that they have to make. But yeah, I mean, when you have social media as your, you know, your messaging outlet and you're like kind of like the king of a certain part of social media.
Gary's definitely the king of social media.
Then you can, you know, get Lucas Oil Stadium.
Dude, and like that's what, even last night, someone who was like working the pre-con event was like, well, why Indianapolis? Like, do you know why they chose it? And I'm like, I don't know.
It's not here every year. They move around.
Yes, it goes to a different place every year. Yeah. But then once we showed up and you see the stadium, it is massive.
It's beautiful.
You're like, oh, this is why. And it's so cool. It's kind of a town. There are like Indy 500 pre-qualifier races, I think, this weekend.
The race is later this month.
Yeah, it's like a qualifying round this weekend.
Or something like this. But yeah, the Indy 500, it's a big deal.
So people are in town for that. But you get this whole vibe of like, today, like later today, we're going to go over by the stadium. There is like a performance happening for people who were like the first 2,000 to register their like NFT ticket to like an actual name. And so I think 2,000 people are guaranteed in, but I'm sure more than people that are going to show up. But we're going to go over there. But what my whole point being is like, I feel like it was chosen, this city in particular, because A, the venue is sick and huge, and B, because VeeFriends kind of flying into town, it really can take over this whole town. Like the whole Indianapolis is going to be NFT VeeFriends people. The airport had banners when you come down to like get your checked bags. There was VeeFriends things.
It was on like the floor.
It was on the floor. It was on the pillars.
Yeah,
There's like the cool like cat, the VeeFriends cat, like was on a thing that said like Indy. Like tons of people are like flying in and like immediately already getting excited.
Well, and it's probably the first time that a lot of us have been to Indianapolis, and so
first time.
Yeah, 100.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know. I've always wanted to come to the race, but I haven't spent too much time here. I have like randomly been here once for like a friend of a friend's wedding, but didn't get to spend a lot of time in the actual city. But it's going to be a full blown takeover. I can see the vision of like why this town was chosen in particular. It probably also is honestly like a great connecting town for flights. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, for sure.
It was easy for us to fly in direct flight from LA. So,
and people also drove as well. So like
we were seeing people apparently yesterday, like everybody flew in. I'm seeing awesome tweets of like videos being like, it's the DGen Express here at the LAX airport. Tons of people were flying in at the same time. I think we like got in a little bit too early. We got here 2 days ago.
Yeah, we missed the DGen Express.
Yeah, I didn't see. I was like seeing if I could see NFT people on our flight, but we were a little early. We were very excited, but we wanted to make sure that we were good, like set up for the stream and everything. And then we immediately go into the next event, like right after this. But I'm really excited to be here to like really take it all in. I think I got my, hanging out vibes out of my system last night. As we know, if I'm ending a night singing loudly in a living room, we've gone too hard.
No, we've accomplished the goals. we have accomplished the goals.
Shout out to the VeeCons.
Like I don't know.
Let me do that. Jeez.
This is the this is the ecosystem of NFTs and crypto. You have an audience
it's so fun.
who is independent, entrepreneurial, social,
fun.
Very tapped in on apps and phones and Ubers. Like people are just can get around, can facilitate, can do digital ticketing, can create events out of nowhere. Like that is the world. And there is alcohol at most of the events. There's music, that kind of thing. And so
like live music or
you just kind of have to like
NFT,
projects,
throw events, which end up can be like when we do OTG events, whenever we can or are able to, or if there's like a lot of Nounish people at one particular place, I like to do like the smaller sort of like 40 to 50 to 60 people things, so I can really like have time with people. People really can hear each other. Maybe it's like a small little dinner. Maybe it's like a rooftop thing.
That amount of people in like not a big space, but not a small space, but like a space that people actually like kind of naturally have to talk to each other. Like
yes,
if
exactly.
If it gets too big, like the event last night, it was like kind of spread out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just like it starts to get a little like clicky and disjointed in a way where it's like if everyone's in the same room, you go walk over here to get a snack and you're gonna see like half the people at the party, just by walking through the room. And so it's always interesting, kind of like
there's
what
all different types of like vibes.
Are.
I definitely like that smaller atmosphere as well because I like people being able to network with each other and hear each other's stories and connect and like follow each other on Twitter and figure out what everyone's doing like from these events. We've gotten to meet other people and see them again at different ones. But what I was trying to say was that that there's much larger events happening, parties. Big gatherings,
DJ Toshi,
opening and closing parties for events. No, hit the air horn's the top right. There you go. We're teaching Cheffo the soundboard today.
See?
The soundboard is within reach for everybody.
I actually could use my toe. It'd be like maybe a little easier to get over there. But Aubtoshi, we need to load that soundboard up.
Yeah, I need like new different like sounds. But what I was trying to say and make my point of is like, for you, like anyone could just like say I'm throwing a party and like throw a party, but you need like actually fun, out there, outgoing people. And I think everything you were describing earlier about people kind of who are in the industry and like who are entrepreneurs, who have creative projects, everyone is kind of just like already like putting themselves out there already.
Well, and people are networking and hanging out, whereas like sometimes
I've never seen anything like that in other
sometimes
industries.
It's just like full partying, in other like industries, or it's just like full hanging out.
Yes.
Like Coachella was full partying. Whereas like
like individuals who are going to those maybe are just focused on that. Whereas like at any NFT sort of or crypto event, like you will be maybe on a dance floor and someone will be like, "Do you want a POAP?" Like it's so cool.
Or someone's like, "I developed this whole interface," and you're like,
Or
Okay.
yes, or you're wearing an NFT shirt and someone comes up because they recognize it too. Like
Yeah.
there's so much. I don't even think like networking is the correct word. Like that sounds so like
Ooh, I figured it.
hoity-toity. Like
Noun working.
ooh, that
Yeah.
needs a little work. Maybe net.
NFT work, NIFT work.
I
It's
don't
just
know. Both of our
networking.
brains are exploding right now.
I think it's
Trying
just
to-
networking.
Well, I know, but networking sounds so boring because it sounds like you're at a LinkedIn party and like people are like meeting each other, but like it's like fun networking. It's like actually people being like very excited about their projects and sharing it, and people being very excited to receive information about someone else's project.
It's like
So
decentralized networking. What is that?
yeah.
Who knows? Who cares? Don't make me use my brain anymore.
I know. I'm just
Aubtoshi.
like I don't
It's
know if I could do that right now.
Not happening.
The karaoke was happening last night. Don't forget. I'm just gonna keep.
I feel
keep
I
bringing
could
that up.
literally I could put something on. You could give us a taste of that. We
We're
have
good.
literally microphones, and you do have a beautiful voice. She has a beautiful voice, folks, and she does love to sing. You know, you get that hype going. Someone else over here, they were singing. This person was singing. Aubtoshi jumped in the mix. There was like a rap battle at one point, and Aubtoshi was singing the like melodies in the background. She was like in the background just doing these little like and there was like this battle going on. I have it all on film, so don't worry. You're gonna have to wait a few months. But it is epic. We have great footage, and you know that is like the cool thing. Like
It's fun.
I don't.
Who cares? It's so fun.
I wish I have no better way to necessarily translate that to the community right now. But we do have really amazing footage that tells this story from like this really dynamic visual perspective, and it's cool to also like talk and do all these things. I'm super
well, and I
excited
think it
about
really
the
tells
visuals.
the story of this behind the scenes of what it is like at these conferences, because it's just so important for me personally and for you, I know, as you're like shooting this film, that we kind of show this side and we show people celebrating each other, because it is the backbone of this industry. It's people, it's community, and
One thing
we have to
that's
show that to people.
Well, and you can you see this instant camaraderie. Like it's fucking crazy. It's almost like colleges or something where you're like
or
you're
like a sports team.
but in a way not, because like sports teams and colleges are super competitive. You're not like going to a party where there's like 8 different colleges there, and everyone has on their college shirts, and then they're all high-fiving. Like that's not really how it goes. At NFTs, like
it's like not as inclusive. You have to like have one team that you're all about.
well, yeah, at NFT events, it's interesting because like there's literally 8 different teams kind of vibing,
that's so true.
and you kind of like look at people's emblems and merch and logos.
I love thinking about it from that perspective. I haven't really thought about that. Like, it's like as if it was like as much camaraderie and like support of like a university type feeling or a sports team, but if like all the teams were in the same room and all supporting each other.
Like when we walk, and I mean, yes, we get to rock the Noggles and all that, and have that backstory that we can.
We're 100% Team Nouns.
Yeah, Team Nouns
when we're out there,
and so like when Team Nouns walks in, like people fucking notice, and like
it's hard to miss the Noggles.
Yeah, and the camera and all that,
and our hype. I'm always just like coming in like
hype. But
Team Nouns.
It's real, and it for me, one of the fascinating things that the camera really does capture, I think, is when people are like first meeting each other. There's this like instant understanding and bond that like it doesn't really matter what project you're deep into. It just matters that you understand what the hell's going on, and that you're like here right now. You're a normal person.
Yes.
You're willing to go in public without a mask and show your face. Not COVID, but doxing and all
like
that.
Like a PFP mask.
Yeah, or whatever. And it really, you can even choose to use your avatar name. That's what I'm always like.
It's so hard.
And I'm starting to go with Cheffo more, because like I just feel like, I don't know, I think it's more memorable than my actual name. And I do run into people online, and so like I would like them to know that I am that. But it is weird. You do have to like make this. How am I going to introduce myself to these vegans?
Yeah, it's fun. I just full blown introduce myself as Aubtoshi, but I do find that people have a hard time with that. They're like, "What? A who?
Like
Subtoshi?"
you
Like,
very rarely say your name though.
yeah, I just like at this point say Aub because my name's Aubtoshi, but you can call me Aub. Um, I really love that analysis of it being like the sports team. It totally feels like that because I always am like trying to think of like how to describe this feeling when you're with everybody. Um,
It's almost like it's like a competitive event where everyone wants everyone to win.
and it's almost like if the teams were kind of just like only online, and then like sometimes people got to come out with each other in public. Because I'm even thinking too, like we kind of get the visual of this, I think, today in Twitter Spaces a lot. Like you go into Twitter Spaces, and it used to be like very much like this was the Goblin Space, this was the Sappy Steel Space.
It
But
literally
now
feels like a Twitter space in person.
yeah, because like now you go
Wow.
into Twitter Spaces
that.
and it's a whole different vibe. You're seeing different PFPs because by this time someone has like really chosen a community that they love, I think, or you know they're joining a new community. But you see all different PFPs in spaces now, as opposed to like how it used to be, even like a year ago. You wouldn't like just join a space if like people weren't rocking the same PFPs as you. Like now it's way more like mixed up and like fun, and you know like I don't know. I love the current state of the NFT world. And I really do feel like it's just going to keep getting better.
Well, yeah, definitely. And I mean, like we're building in a quote bear market, you know, without predicting the future. And again, none of what we do here is financial advice, right, Aubtoshi?
Not financial advice.
Gosh, that would just be like the dumbest thing to take our financial advice.
Yeah.
Don't do
I wouldn't
that.
do that.
Golly gee. But
I also like think, you know, it's so funny. Like I harp on the fact that like it sucks that we always have to say that, but we do have to say that because it is an industry that has financial projects or products involved with it.
And people are wanting to learn how to get into the industry.
So just always be safe. We always say not financial advice, do your own research.
Right.
You know that here on this stream in particular, we always encourage you guys to have this observation phase where you're really taking in as much information as possible before you're making any decisions. That's going to be really important to your journey in discovering NFTs or crypto. And so as much as we talk to all the people that we know in this industry, we really want this stream to be something for newbies as well, which is so important because events like VeeCon, for total newbies, you know, some Twitter spaces for total newbies, like the stream itself, we want it to be like a cool place where you can actually learn. But a part of that learning includes saying no financial advice and do your own research.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we are in this time right now where there's a lot of developers working on protocols to make the whole experience easier, whether it's getting into something, getting out of something, managing a group of people that have token IDs, governance voting, like all of these things, they're getting better literally week by week. Like you can watch some of your favorite platforms and all of a sudden like a new feature will be there and you're like, whoa, that feature wasn't there last week.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in this space right now who's doing anything with any project that's making it easier for people to join and kind of come in. Because like that's what I feel like about Prop House. You know, thank you to everybody building right now a thing that's going to continue to onboard more and more people into this industry. It's really important. And I hope that this live stream can end up being one of those tools for people who are like more visual learners or who like to listen to. Well,
there's a huge controversy, to be honest, this week in crypto, and it's around the new Ledger products that they've rolled out. But you know, giving that thought, like, and I will have to default to smarter people, but if you don't opt into that, then my understanding is that you're pretty much like on your old firmware and all that, but their new product is essentially designed Their new product is essentially designed to make it so that you can use your like a verified ID, like some driver's licenses, I believe.
Well, let's back it up for people who don't know what this is. Ledger is
She's backing it all the way up.
Is a different type of way to store your crypto.
It's a wallet, and it's a wallet that is a hard wallet, and it's not living.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Like in your internet browser, and so it's.
Yep, it looks like a flash drive. You can. It's encrypted. No one's supposed to know this seed phrase. It like keeps the whole thing out
and your private keys and all that. But what this new product is doing,
which is called. Wait, hold on. I just wanted to get that. Oh, so Ledger Recover.
Right.
Is a brand new thing and it's not like a separate product they're offering. It's like an update you can do with your own ledgers that already exist. And so I think that is where these security sort of risk questions started coming in. It's not like it was like a separate product that you can buy. It's something being added onto your existing thing that you could then now opt into. And so people are making the case that, well, if you can opt into this, that means that there's some type of backdoor security-wise to these ledgers, but they say that that's not true. So
I'm not going to speak to that because I don't know, but my understanding is that once you are in this new program, then you can have some type of identification, and then your keys are like encrypted into shards, like micro shards, basically, and like you have to have like 2 of the out of 3 encrypted shards or something, I believe. But at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is make it so that if someone does make a mistake, they can get access to their crypto again. And yeah, I suppose they are moving into the direction of trying to establish themselves as more of like a third-party trusted source for potentially identification stuff. And, you know, with a lot of the decentralized IDs that will be coming up, I do think that you'll see these consortiums of trusted companies that are facilitating some of the encryption that will allow you to use the internet like a Facebook or something like that in an anonymous way, but in a way that is like a trusted anonymous. And, you know, I think these companies have to, like, there's a lot of, like, pitfalls that they can, and crypto is hypersensitive, and people are hyper aware, and they're also, like, hyper unaware. And there's people who, it's a very rich mixture of people and understanding. And this week there was a bit of a firestorm around that, and I think it's really causing the industry to actually spend some time deeply thinking about that. So that's super interesting. We'll have to learn more about it,
because people are saying that this potential like backdoor exists. They're like, you know, there has been like a thing on Twitter that I've seen. A lot of people are kind of urging people to step away from Ledger. People are kind of posting videos of them smashing their ledgers with a hammer and then setting them on fire. I think we all know, we've all had the internet and our phones long enough to know that that's not great for a product or for a company when that's happening. And so what I really do hope happens is I hope, I know that they held a Twitter space, Ledger did, but I really hope that they can continue to maybe communicate responses to this.
It's going to have to be explained more.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to have to be more of a dumbed down explanation, or not. I don't know.
Well, and a real proving of the fact that it's not what people think. I'm not sure. Again, cannot speak to that. If you guys follow Ledger on Twitter, what are they? Ledger, LEDGER on Twitter. You guys can kind of follow that story yourself too, but it is a good thing to bring up because there are so many like hot topics that happen like within this industry per week, because a week in crypto is like a year.
Because like we're talking about VeeCon, we could talk about that until the cows come home, and we literally haven't even gone to the event yet.
Yeah.
So then it's like we're gonna have all these other things to talk about, and then that's just one thing that's happening. Then these other things are happening, and you know, you'll like look at everything that's happened with meme season. Look at everything that's happened with Turbo CC0. Like look at everything that's happening with fucking Ben and PSYOP. Like
that's wild too.
there are so many things happening at the same time because the technology is decentralized and because you can really go for it for good or for bad.
Yep. So the ledger thing was definitely something happening and is like viral right now because people are kind of having these reactions to the news and the announcement of this new project, Ledger Recover. So I hope that gets worked out.
Yeah, we'll stay on top of it, folks.
We will stay on top of it, we are
on that.
Again, deferring to much smarter people than ourselves.
Oh golly, yeah.
Especially when it comes to like security and firmware and wallets and hot and cold wallet storage.
We need Gammy on here. He's a security expert.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd call himself an expert, but he's really good about it.
Well, and like we're constantly wanting to learn too, and I really think that is important to learn, especially if you're going to be in this industry and you want to sort of store things, not just in a wallet that's like a hot wallet.
You probably have you really need to spend some time protecting your crypto dick butts.
I don't have any crypto dick butts.
Yeah, but if you did, you would probably really need to study.
I think you just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I did.
Live on the air.
That's not an endorsement. I don't really even know what they are.
There is
I hear people joke about them.
Some other, again, it's almost strange. Like I know we've talked about this, and like when we started doing the stream, I said in like the first ever episode, I'm like, okay, so what do we want to talk about on this stream? And I'm like, I don't really want to be like a gossip column, sort of, the drama of that happens between some projects or some people here in the space that everyone is hyper aware of. I feel like there's already people like throwing those spaces, but I don't know. A lot of the times it's starting to feel a little bit more and more like it's kind of unavoidable. Do you have to talk about stuff that's happening? Right now, like
you have to talk about things that are relevant, especially if we're going to continue to do this podcast ongoing, which we are.
Plus, there's like historic things that happen and that people will a year from now be like, "Hey, remember the PSYOP drop? Like from last year?" Like, feel like it is important to kind of touch on these things. And again, but I just want to make it very clear that when we are talking about these things, it's just because they're relevant right now in the industry. I can't open my Twitter right now without seeing these things. This is not a support or a non-support for any of these projects, but
like we said, we're like
not financial advice.
We're like little, maybe like a turtle, or what are those little cute? You always see like those little cute animals. They're in their den and they just stick their little head out. We're like that, we just kind of we come out of the nouns ecosystem just a little bit.
Just a book.
Well, every now and again,
it's important for us if we're covering, NFTs and crypto that we should talk about these things. Like, and so I feel like the reason I'm just, I don't know, setting the tone for that is just, it is important to me to remain a positive voice in the community. I think it's, we only really focus on DAOs and like entrepreneurship part of it. Like we are project leaders. Like we want to inspire people to be project leaders. But of course, I get home or in my downtime, I'm watching like Desperate Housewives, so like there's a part of me that is like into sort of the dramas happening, but it is a little bit different when it's in crypto because it's like, well, we got real people and their money like on the line for some of this stuff. And so it feels strange, but there is another thing happening this last week that we have not talked about on the stream before too, but there is during this whole meme coin season that's happening, obviously like we've talked about Turbo here, we believe in specific projects community wise, and we're excited to talk about that too. But from this, like we predicted and we said like, there's going to be a lot of different coins that kind of come out during this time of people just dropping coins. Completely natural. We knew it was going to happen. That definitely happened over this last week. You saw tons of different viral coins. Sometimes that, went and then like went immediately to zero, like the day after, like, again, not financial advice. Like it's a crazy, wild game. That is for sure the coin game. But there is a specific coin that was going to drop. And there's kind of this drama happening right now with this Ben coin and PSYOP. So,
well, those are two different coins.
yes, it's two different coins, but this ETH Ben person, and again, I do not know any of these people. This is just what I'm observing for Twitter.
Ben.eth.
Yep. He also has Ben.Noggles, I believe, which is really cool. But he launched a coin. He's now going to be transferring ownership of that coin to BitBoy, another person in the space that
I think
a lot of people know. He has like 1 million followers and is like a big YouTube person.
Yeah,
in the
I think
space.
there's like
again, don't want to go into details and specifics, but he's transferring it over to them. And then he started saying he was going to launch another coin, and in that held a pre-sale. And the pre-sale was a pinned tweet with like his contract address for his personal wallet. That's then going to be like, however they're doing it, I'm not quite sure, and I can't speak to that. It's going to be transferred over for the pre-sale of this new token PSYOP. But the reason this is just wild and isn't like anything anybody in this industry has seen, and I have no idea the legal side of this, what it all means, but what I can tell you is that during this pre-sale, like $7 million has been sent to this wallet, and so it's just sitting there, and people, I think it's actually launching today.
Oh geez.
Oh my god. And there was a space, I didn't want to miss it. Thread Guy has been doing spaces where he talked to BitBoy in depth about that whole process, and then today he was actually going to be with ETH Ben during the space. So again, tons of people out there hosting spaces and like getting to talk to these people live. There's been massive reactions
if
from
you are
this.
going to do your own research, which everyone says is the thing to do, listening to people and having a chance to hear the actual project leader, founder,
Yes, it's very important.
in their own words, for me, is like...
That's like the most important thing
It's
ever.
like the number one indicator for me whether I'm in or out of a project.
Well, and
Is how someone sounds.
shout out to Thread Guy for being open to getting all sides of the story. I think that people have been having really crazy, like big, huge reactions to this pre-sale and to everything that's kind of led up to it. And what I don't like seeing, is like people, I hate cancel culture. And until someone's like proven to be a certain way, like you can't just necessarily assume that. I think that's why I was interested about the fact that he got to talk on his space today.
Sure.
I'm gonna see.
I mean, in this particular case, the likelihood of it being not legal is high. And so because of that, there's a lot of unknown
I'm just check Twitter really
and
quick.
tension. But there is quite a bit of like hopium, that we all function in. And yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that people who we know, who are our friends in the industry, like,
oh my god, this space is happening right now.
Sent money to this wallet, and
wow,
that's their
choice. I will
choice.
definitely be listening to this afterwards.
They're recording it.
Yep.
Okay.
I think there's a couple thousand people in the space, but it's the first time we heard a little bit more from like the Ben coin, and then the BitBoy side. Haven't quite heard from. I have seen Ben holding spaces, and he has been talking to people. I think that the other thing that sort of caused a whirlwind over the last week is that the project was supposed to have a pre-sale and then 2 days later launch. And so what's happened over this week is that it keeps getting like pushed a little bit for all these different various reasons that have been explained to everybody, but it's made it like the hottest topic of this week. Like outside of like events that are happening and stuff too, like it's all anyone's talking about, because people are now, something that was kind of, I think, supposed to be like this 2-day thing. People have been waiting a week, and like through that more money's been sent to it. And like, it's just like so
I mean,
crazy.
honestly, what's the phrase? Like it's a, train wreck on wheels, or what is it? Like, I mean, it's just like, in my opinion, is really bad. And I'm just going to stand by that. Like it's really not good. And I don't think it's going to end well.
I know. And like, I don't know. I don't
want
to throw any energy behind anything, but I do hope that everyone involved who sent money is okay. And I hope that like people didn't send more than they could lose. And I think there's someone did a really cool thread that had like it was like a poll, a massive poll about the whole thing. Like, did you send money? Yes or no? Are you following this? Yes or no? Do you think it's going to happen in a positive way? Yes or no?
Today's going to be super interesting. I mean, I'm sure this conversation that they're having right now is crazy.
Yes, because it's launching today. And I know that Thread Guy had specifically said he wanted to interview Ben pre-launch so that it's not like them pumping this coin. He wanted to get an actual just full-blown interview. He doesn't hold any of the token. He didn't participate in this the pre-sale. And he did already have like a very lengthy conversation with BitBoy on like 2 to 3 separate spaces. And so I think him interviewing and being the person to do it was probably, accurate. People have been going to those Thread Guy spaces for this kind of specific topic that's been happening this week too. But it is freaking crazy. I will say that like no one's ever seen that. Like
the conversation
we were just talking about
happen,
ledgers, like hot and cold wallets. Like this is a hot wallet. This is a personal wallet connected just to this one person.
Oh yeah.
And we've never really seen that much money being kind of put into someone's wallet like that for a pre-sale. But of course, for the sake of like everything being okay, I hope that it is okay. And I hope that they're doing something with this. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're launching it today. We're all going to see. But that is a major, major, major thing that has been happening this week. Everyone in the industry knows about it. Has been talking about it, has been doing their own research about it. And I think just it's wild to think that it's wild. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
It's pretty crazy. And it's
$7 million.
Definitely right in the middle of the experiment. Like it is actively happening right now.
I know. Let me see if there's
and like sometimes things go okay, sometimes things don't. But who knows? I personally am not invested in it and will not be. So
it's wild. I'm not seeing.
But there's so much like it's fascinating. It's cool that the technology can do that.
I think more than anything, it also showed because everyone's kind of like, oh, I guess like are we out of the bear market? Like there was $7 million there, like in the ecosystem, just sitting there the whole time. Like that is what's pretty fascinating about this industry as well, is like the way money kind of flows in and out of projects, and it just it's fascinating to me.
It shows how important sentiment is. There
Yes.
is money always on the sidelines in crypto. There's always millions of dollars.
Well, because what's interesting too, like not that people sent like 0.1, 0.3.
I haven't been paying attention.
Like not like these like little fractional, pieces of ETH, like tons and tons of like these little like things that like ended up adding up to $7 million. Like it's just insane. Like let me see if I can pull this up right now. How much it? Because then the pre-sale ended and then people have still been sending to that wallet because it's the reason that this is crazy is like for other projects, you have to kind of like go mint a token or something. Like you have to like go through a process of doing something, but this is like, you can literally just type in this address and send money to it. And I don't know how they're going to stop people from sending money to it once they announce that like the pre-sale's over. Cause I know that people still were sending. There is 7 million in this account. There's 3,977 ETH, well, 0.9. So there's about to be 3,978 ETH.
Yep.
Wow.
It is what it is. And it's just one thing that's happening right now. And
even right now, people are.
It's part of
people are still sending.
It's part of what is like maybe the tail end of meme season. Like meme seasons, I don't think last very long. And I think that we've started to like see the taper off.
Mm-hmm.
You've also started to see meme projects work towards becoming less of a meme and more of a community and more of a like a community token, I would call it. So that's I think also an indicator that the meminess, like fervor, is coming down a little bit. But it is one of these things that people like kind of always want in these little like power chunks. And this thing is still happening. It's definitely to be determined what does happen with it. So there is some of that like juicy crypto red meat out there right now, you know, that is like not boring, you know, not technical. Like this kid doesn't write he does not know how to write a contract. Like he hired a developer and they parted ways.
But
like,
yeah, but then like, okay, the thing that blows my mind about this whole thing is like, it is really an experiment because people sent the money.
Yeah.
He has blown up his Twitter account. He was like a smaller tier poster and creator before this. Again, not speaking on this person. I didn't really know about this person prior to this experiment that's happening. But it's been, this coin name has been going viral. Last night, like there was a whole interaction from Andrew Tate. Like, and I'm just looking at now, there's a Beeple did art.
What is it?
Bend.eth dumping on BitBoy and Andrew Tate.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even show you guys this photo.
Wow.
Because we're live streaming. And it's featuring an interesting design.
That's incredible.
But yes, and this is what I'm saying. So people another person who just from their own personal experience with NFTs has like onboarded so many people in this community. He's the artist that's behind the famous like auction that happened for what
$69 million.
$69 million for his art, and he drops a new piece of art every single night, basically. That kind of is like encapsulates what's happening that day, like what's most viral and stuff. So over the last week, there's been a lot of coins that have been shouted out by him. Turbo, it was so cool. There was like 3 shout outs of like, you know, I don't know, like Gensler and Elon, like riding on a rocket, like with Pepe and Turbo and Lambo on that. Like he's been like doing this crazy art that kind of like speaks to the times that we're all in right now too. But it basically, if you get shouted out, like you have to be going viral at the point to get shouted out by this person. You have to be such a presence in the community that's his subject matter for the art that day. And it says a lot that he did art on this. Like it's insane, dude.
Yeah, well, it became unavoidable in the crypto sphere, and that's literally why we're talking about it. That's the only reason that we're talking about it. And it will hopefully, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of people involved at this point. You know, honestly, if it goes downhill, then it just goes downhill. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, compared to something like FTX, you know, and some of the other, you know, Luna, like it's pennies on the dollar, you know, like it's literally fractional amounts compared to some of the major fails that we've seen already in the last year in crypto.
It's wild.
So
I'm chomping at the bit. I honestly
if it goes to zero, I wouldn't doubt it.
We can't speak to what it would go to.
Who knows?
We don't know. We literally don't even know how this thing is. It hasn't even launched yet.
I think it's prudent to say, like, and again, saying that something is going to go up is generally speaking not what you're supposed to do, right? But telling people that something is probably going to shit the bed is fairly fair. I mean,
well, not really, because like we don't know that.
I don't know. I mean,
I take a very like middle of the line stance. I think it's like the safest thing to do because like I feel like if you have any type of influence at all, and influence meaning like what we have right now, even if one person is watching this, Malcolm, shout out Malcolm, you know, if we say something's going to go to zero, like what if one person then like, and we don't know that. Like we don't know. We're not attached to this project. We're not attached to the contract. We didn't send money to this wallet.
I'm just being conservative with my DYOR. After doing my research, my personal opinion is that this coin is not going to make it.
Well, okay.
But I don't really honestly want to talk about the coin anymore.
No, I know, but we originally like kind of brought it up because it's important to know like what's happening right now. Like this is the hot topic right now. Every person is talking about this. Yeah. Spaces are happening right now.
They're talking about the project launching today, in person.
Yep. It's crazy. And I think it's important for us to cover that too. But again, not financial advice. And
oh God.
Be careful out there. And if you guys participated in this project, like I'd love to hear why. And
yeah, I'd love to hear more.
Yes, exactly.
And we'll definitely keep an eye on it, and we'll report about it, and we'll be fair.
By tomorrow, we will have an update on that specific project because it's supposedly launching today. So
it was also supposedly launching a week ago.
I know. It's gonna be okay, Cheffo.
I'm just saying facts.
I know. It's weird. It's crazy. It's like it's
just facts, dude.
I know. I feel like there's like this part of me that's like, please be real, so that like this doesn't like harm the community in any type of way. And so again, I don't know, dude. But
it's just one part of it. It's only one thing that I know
it's one project. That's what's so crazy.
That crypto technology can facilitate are a fungible token as opposed to a non-fungible token. These are ERC-20s. They're fungible. They can be sold and exchanged without these token IDs. And then we have NFTs that have individual token ID numbers, and those are non-fungible. And it's two totally different use cases for blockchain ledger technology. And these particular projects that we work with, they are on Ethereum. And the Ethereum virtual machine and the Solidity code allows for these things to happen. And as developers continue to get better developing these items, then it will become easier for people to release an NFT. It already has way, way, way easier. To do an open edition, or in this particular case, to do a coin. And then as we saw with Turbo, Rhett did his release with AI. And then you have a community and go from there. So, I mean, it's an individual project thing, and whether it's an ERC-20, a 721, we need to get some devs on here. There's lots of other like token standards. There's 1155. We should probably like dive in and look at some really cool 1155 projects.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about community, and I think the thing that fascinates me more than anything is no matter what kind of comes out of that project, and again, we'll find out today, hopefully. Or maybe, who knows, a community has formed. Yeah. A community's formed. Like, it's really impressive. It's crazy to witness it from the sidelines. And again, who knows what's going to happen. But it always, like, brings me back to this place where I like, think about Nouns and how Nouns operates and the DAO and having those tokens and token holders voting and what utility really means and could mean for a community. Like, it brings me back into that. And I'm like, wow, like, Nouns is so special. Yep. And like in that way, they've like in a solved a lot of these issues.
We're in a bubble, and
they've solved a lot of trust issues with people because of the way that the contracts were deployed and everything. The auction, the fact that only a new person could come in each day because there's only one token sold every single day. Like everything that they really thought of in that way, like for me, like is so cool. And I feel like Nouns doesn't really get shouted out like in that sense, a lot, because it's almost just like, it was just so good from the beginning, that like
really
people don't think to say it.
Strong from the beginning.
And it's like maintained its ability to continue to operate in this fashion because of how it started. And it's just like, dude, the devs for the Nouns, just shout out to you guys. So cool.
Yeah, shout out.
The technology that you guys have built, like, to solve these community style trust issues is really incredible. I just like couldn't even speak to that enough too. I know that we're 15 minutes past this first hour, but at the top of the hour, I usually kind of bring it all back and remind everybody why we're here and what we're doing. Yes, air horn. We are here, Nouns on the Air. we're here live from Indianapolis, Indiana this week. Let's go.
The
We're here.
Town of the 500.
With VeeCon. You know that Nouns on the Air. We highlight people, places, and things from around the world in NFTs, in crypto, in DAOs, and in just like normal social events and stuff too. So we hope that this is an awesome place for you to hang and learn a little bit more about this world that we're involved in. And we communicate right here with chat. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. If you're watching this on any of the platforms, hey to my Twitter family and community. That has also been kind of growing in a really cool way. So that's been awesome to see. Hi, LinkedIn. I have been ignoring you for 2 weeks. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I gotta go to LinkedIn.
Everybody ignores LinkedIn. I'm just kidding.
Oh, can I have that charge?
Oh, sure.
The cord. We're here sharing computer cords. We have a very fun, relaxed conversation style way of communicating about our personal experiences in this industry, taking you guys kind of right into our whatever living room we happen to be in during that week, but kind of bringing you guys right in here with us, talking about all these things that are happening in the industry and then focusing on sort of specific events and things going on. I mean, in this window, you guys will see Lucas Oil Stadium. We are in Indianapolis for VeeCon. We are so excited to be here. Shout out to Gary V and to the entire VeeFriends community. We've had some cool early interactions with people from last night.
Did you sign up to meet Gary? That opened at midnight last night on the app.
Oh, no, I didn't. Shoot. I should definitely do that. Dang it.
We got to do that.
I got to do that. Thank you for reminding me. See, there's so many things going on. It's so cool. VeeFriends community, they have a whole app. They're using NFTs for ticketing for the event. You had to have the NFT. The holders were airdropped it. It's the one event that they get per year that's epic and for their community specifically. It's just such a great event to kind of capture all the different parts of this world, I think, that we participate in. So we're really excited to be here, and we've kind of just been vibing today and catching you guys up.
Very Web 2, that's where he blew up, was on in Web 2, in the birth of social media, and taking even some of the Web 1 beginning days of e-commerce into Web 2, and then coming into Web 3, and he was kind of given a hard time for that, but now he's literally
let's switch up
leading the way
screens
on
really quick.
Web 3 from Web 2. So
I'm just gonna pour this in for a window capture so that we can actually just check out VeeFriends for a second.
He's probably one of the few people that have actually been involved in 1, 2, and 3 parts of the web.
Let's see what's going on with VeeFriends.
Welcome to VeeFriends.com. VeeFriends is an ambitious NFT project around characters that have traits that I believe in so much, that I want people to aspire to.
It's very positive. I love that. I've always loved that about VeeFriends.
They also happen to be a token to a conference that I'm gonna put on every single year called VeeCon, VeeConference, a multi-day event that is gonna rival some of the greatest conferences in the world around entrepreneurship, marketing, ideas, creativity, competition, meeting new friends. It's a community. It will be my great honor to create an ecosystem around the access tokens that are a huge part of this project. Hangout time, group stuff, bowling, tennis, bubble hockey, video games, dinners, brunches, and then remind me, 555 gift codes?
Correct.
These are people who are gonna literally put in your address and stuff shows up. Hangout Hawks, 5 times a year in a Zoom for 3 years, 15 sessions? That's crazy. How many access tokens are there just one-on-one with me?
108.
Just think about that. That's the #1 request I get every single day. I think it's all about IP. I think all the pipes are done.
2017.
What you fill it with is everything.
And even in my field of hip hop, I think when we look at Mickey or Disney, or we look at Hello Kitty.
Oh, there's so much. I've been thinking about creating characters because I've always loved Disney. I've always loved the Get Along Gang and Snorks. You know how many times I reference Wuzzles? You know what Wuzzles are? I buy stuffed animals, mugs with pop culture on it.
I don't know what a Wuzzle is.
The same game that was built for this moment. So now I've got to create mine. This was reverse engineered for the Vayniacs, what they were called when we did Wine Library TV, the Vayner Nation.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
He's been
people I
streaming
interact
for
with
so
all the
long.
time.
Yeah.
It was very important to me when I structured this that it was a culmination of many things in my life. My interest around creating characters, my ambition to push certain attributes in humanity, a conference that I've been dying to put on for years, and access. When I sat back and said, what's the biggest thing I can give them? time. You wanna go sit courtside with me at a Knicks game? Here we are. I'm trying to build a blueprint for everybody that has an audience of how to do a proper NFT project.
Cool. I also wanted to just like watch the recap. I know we kind of did this last time, but I think it's important. So this is a recap of last year's
Minneapolis
VeeCon.
will be packed this weekend. US Bank Stadium is going to be hosting people from all over the world who are attending VeeCon, the first ever NFT ticketed conference.
This is a first of its kind experience here in Minneapolis today. It's actually being coined as the Coachella of NFTs.
This convention is more than just about NFTs and cryptocurrency.
Always been like it's sort of in like a
about
stadium
arts,
like that. That's so
music,
cool.
and pop culture. And it's also expected to bring about 8,000 to 10,000 people right here to Minneapolis.
Right now, A-list actors, musicians, influencers, they're all heading to the Twin Cities.
From Deepak Chopra to Snoop Dogg.
This is the career-defining project and conference of my life. V-Friends, welcome to VeeCon!
V-Friends, after a huge year for NFTs and infinite buildup for VeeCon, finally, we welcomed nearly 7,000 of our community members to Minneapolis.
We're asking where you traveled from.
We are coming from Ohio.
Germany, yes.
I came from Las Vegas, Nevada. Woo!
Shepherdstown,
everywhere.
West by God, Virginia.
From Athens, Greece.
Chi-Town, Chicago. Amazing, man. Thank you all for coming out.
With ample amounts of activations, sponsors, and food trucks, the V-Friends community was ready to have fun and connect in person.
I'm so excited for
This
this.
is
Gary
that
was
thing
ready
that we're going to
officially
later, right?
launch
Like
VeeCon
that, like
2022.
kind of like the outside party.
My brother, Gary Vaynerchuk.
I want to thank this collective group of people, and let me tell you why. I've already received a stunning amount of emails and DMs of just how kind
That's your
and
camera.
positive and good this collective group of people have been in this town in the 45 seconds that we've been here. It means that we're capturing the energy of what this is all about. I love this community from the bottom of my heart.
See, it
Thank
kind
you.
of like
I'm
took
humbled. I
over
will
in
see you
Minneapolis
tomorrow.
during last
Have
year.
a
It's
great
going to be the
fucking
same
time
vibes this
tonight.
year for
I
sure.
love you. Thank you.
This must be like the outside party, yeah.
As the welcome party slowly came to a close,
Yes, the
all the
welcome
respectful raccoons, outgoing octopi, and positive porcupines were ready for the first day of panels, keynotes, and performances inside the US Bank Stadium.
One of the largest
Vegans-
tech
Wow.
conferences in
Vegans
the
go
country
hard,
is happening
Aubtoshi.
right now in
I'm so
Minneapolis.
excited.
There are about 10,000 people from all over the world here for VeeCon.
Okay, I was wondering how many people. So about
Along with
10,000.
A bunch
Okay,
of
okay,
my
okay.
friends who have been out here since about 2:45 this morning. Look at this. This line wraps all the way around
What?
the corner over there. So this conference is bringing people together from all around the world to talk about the future of technology.
We should totally go like
Not
see
just
if we can
regular
film the
people who are
line.
interested in
If
learning
people are
about
waiting.
the blockchain and NFTs or non-fungible tokens, if you will. This conference is the perfect way to show off the best of what Minnesota has to offer.
158 speakers, one main stage, 4 side stages. Over the course of 3 days,
I think it's like similar
V-Friends
setup
community turned
this year.
Discord avatars and names into real relationships. The curiosity around Web3, innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship was felt throughout the stadium. Most importantly, friendships that will last a lifetime were formed.
What do you think about the first VeeCon?
It's super cool, like, you know, to
Cool.
see that this is like bleeding into the real world and having a real sort of like emotional effect on people and changing
So
how
last
they
year was the
actually,
first one?
you know,
I
live
get it,
their
yeah.
lives. And
Man, the number of people that are here that showed up, the amount of creators and artists and the builders they all seem to be here. I feel like we're watching history being made.
Wow.
This is the first tech revolution I've seen where arts and culture is at the forefront. No matter if you have any tech experience, any background, I love the fact that all of us as artists and creators can be at the forefront now.
Everybody here has a voice. You know, everything else in life fucking falls apart as you get older, but your voice only gets louder and more distinct the older you get, the longer you live, the more refined your perspective becomes. And that voice is valuable, and I say that because I know from experience.
When I was in film school, I read an article about Akira Kurosawa, Japanese filmmaker, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And the interviewer asked Kurosawa, he's 85 at the time, asked him, at your age, you must know everything about cinema. Kurosawa said, even though I am the age I am, there's still a universe of cinema I have to learn. And so it made me understand that you stop learning when you're breathing. And B, on a constant search for knowledge, because that will impact your craft and make you the best version of artist you can be.
What I think I most want to tell people is it's about breaking boundaries. You know, I'm a type of person where I run to the edge of something and I don't know how to stop. I just run off the cliff and I want to see what life looks like after that, right? And I think that the best things in life are on the other side of fear and you know, consistent vulnerability. And so more than anything, what I'm trying to communicate to the world is just that there's a whole beautiful side of life that really only exists on the other side of our fears and our vulnerabilities. And it's something that we have to confront head on.
I turned off that switch a long time ago that really lets the thought of like, you suck, you're gonna fail, everyone hates you, they think you're stupid. That is a false narrative that no one else is thinking except you in your head.
This is it. This is our opportunity that we get to be in a space where it's unbiased, where it's not about, you know, our race, our gender, our creed. Like, we get to move away from all of those things that we actually deal with every day here in this world. And so to me, it was like, it's an opportunity to
This is huge what Gary's done.
Of something new where we can change the story and the outcome financially, but also how we impact each other as a community.
What we've all built in Web 2, Facebook, and you know, all these different social networks are great, but they are the town square. They're for everyone. And what we really want as human beings is a sense of belonging. You know, you all came here this weekend to try to find community together because you're all in the VeeFriends community. And it's why I believe in NFT projects more than anything, for the brands that are creating those neighborhoods and that belonging for the community.
If you were a digital artist even 2 years ago, there's 0% chance that you're going to be able to earn a living from your artwork. You have to work for clients, you have to do corporate commissions and all this shit that you're really not interested in. So NFTs are finally a way for digital artists to get that respect and to be able to just earn a living and focus on creating the work that they want to create. And
I think that cat was at the airport.
That's gonna take a while for people to realize what's really happening here. It's gonna be a massive impact.
When I first got my Bored Ape, I was like, why everybody monkey just sitting up there just looking stupid? And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, can we do something with it? They like, yeah, this your shit, you own it. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm finna make some clothes. I'm finna open an ice cream shop. I'm finna do this. I'm finna do that. Everything and all things, because I'm gonna treat Dr. Bombay like Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? And if you get you something like this to where you can actually monetize it and make it move, you're supposed to research and find lanes that don't have a lane, so you can create your own lane, so you compete with nobody but yourself. And that's what I'm doing with my NFT. And creatively, when I do things, it's got to be fun. If it's not, I don't give a fuck how much money you got. I don't care who it's with. If it's with this superstar, it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. I got to come have fun. When you ask me to come to VeeCon, this shit is fun.
The VeeGens are fun. Snoop's not lying about that.
4,000 interactions this weekend, one by one, hearing your stories, listening to the nice words that you had to share to me about our journeys together, really did something for me this weekend. I'm a pretty motivated monster, but I'm gonna tell you right now, what you gave me this weekend has motivated me so much more to continue to fight for this binary conversation that I have in my mind, which is the world is confused, that kindness is the answer. Let's make some noise for these final words, because this is the truest fucking thing I could tell you about this weekend. I fucking love you.
Cool.
I love you. I will see you next year.
Ooh, that's where we are right now. Here, I'll just like pull out of here and go back to this main
Super cool.
thing. Yes, I'm hyped.
I'm hyped too, Aubtoshi.
I'm so hyped.
Nothing like a little hype video.
I know. Wow. I feel like immediately after this stream ends, we're probably gonna like meander over to Lucas Oil Stadium. If people are lining up at 2:45 a.m. the night before to get in, like, I'm sure it's already going to be like that. And I'm wondering, if we have to check out where Busta Rhymes is going to be, but it seems like that first part of the video, we saw like this welcoming party that was like outdoors and there's food and fun stuff. Like, that's happening tonight. And so we will definitely be kind of recording fun things for social media there. Hopefully giving you guys an inside look at what's going on. But if it's anything like last year's first VeeCon, I'm sure it's going to be epic. Really, like, I do come from like an events production background. Like, it is really impressive what he's done. It is really fun. Even like the footage of like the people talking on stage. Like, it's just so clear. They have all these different camera angles. Like, we have been to like multiple of these conferences, you guys, and I've not really seen it on that level.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
I do think that was like a really well done video.
But even like the content that they captured for that video, like the on stage speakers and stuff too, like it's just so clear. It looks amazing.
No, that's true. It really matters.
I'm gonna see if there's like, let me see, speakers. I'd be interested if like you could actually see that.
Like streaming?
There's, well, the different speakers, because I've always wondered this as well. I guess like, there is like they're not letting in like certain cameras. Like even the one that we're filming on right now probably isn't gonna make it into the festival. But I always like feel like the part that people really miss about these things is like, I want to be able to go on YouTube and like watch all these speakers. And I get the importance of like, you had to have been there, you had your ticket. It's sort of like what gets it, and that's fine. But like, what if all this stuff was like released later? Like, cause it's really important. Like I want to hear these talks. I want to be inspired. And I think that like releasing that information and content would like help other people who are maybe like making a decision to come next year or something, like get to learn from it as well.
It's a tough one with that because you do have to essentially, get people to buy the ticket. And if they, so there is that. But
it's so cool.
really,
like,
what
I want to
needs
see
to
all
happen,
those speeches that we kind of just saw. I would love to see the rest of them.
Well, what needs to happen actually is YouTube needs to implement NFT token gating technology, and maybe it doesn't have to be for every video, but if a producer could, when they're uploading, say, is there, literally it could be like 2 clicks. It'd be like a little thing, and it'd say, is there a token ID that you want to use to token gate this content? You copy and paste in the contract address, and there you go.
Or like a subscription, just like when you subscribe to someone's channel, you can like pay an extra $5 to like get exclusive content, like kind of what they're doing right now on Twitter.
Right.
You can have people subscribe to your Twitter, and then they get access to like tweets that you only tweet out to this group. But yeah, and obviously I'm just like talking out loud here, but that is definitely my thought, because I immediately wanted to then go see some of those speeches that we saw, like Spike Lee and Snoop Dogg, and I couldn't find a place to do that. But maybe there is a place. Maybe it's actually just like on the website itself. But I do think from like a content perspective, like those interviews and stuff are everything.
Yeah.
And even like for like my talks that I've done like at Paris and stuff too, like I still don't really know like where to access those.
I think also you do probably get into like royalties at that point, because like let's say Snoop did a video and 100 million people watched it. Like, does VeeCon get the royalties, or does Snoop get a cut of that? You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So there's probably parts of that.
Yeah, there's a lot into it, but I mean, it looks fantastic.
Who knows?
The opening party,
it looks
the types,
amazing.
Level of speakers. Just so exciting to see like a couple of people like in that video too that we've met out in the world, and I love that he like really takes the time to meet with people. It's so important when you're out there. And he's just like one of those people that can do it. So if you are one of those people that's like Gary and you're like really out there and like talking to people and connecting with other people, like
kind of like you, Aubtoshi.
Yes, I know. I was like thinking of that too. Like when I'm at conferences, I'm just like, there's never a second going by where like I'm not trying to talk to someone or meet someone new. And I love that he really like puts that time out. He said it was like 3,000 to 4,000 people that he like met one by one, and here's like what they have to say to him. That gets the photo, like, because a lot of people have really looked up to this person. A lot of entrepreneurs. There's, he has years and years and years of streaming and doing everything that he's been doing, and like that's honestly like a big inspiration for my stream. Like sure. This is only the beginning, and I think this is episode 16, you guys. Nice. Like, I just will get emotional like thinking about
Sweet
it too.
16,
but
Aubtoshi,
we'll
Sweet
look back.
16.
We'll look back on episode 16, and it'll feel like that was so long ago, and we were doing things so different, and blah blah blah. Like we'll continue to like grow with this channel, and like it's really cool to see these very old streams that Gary used to do, because like he stuck with it, he kept going, and like look what it's become today. He's like the guy that's onboarding people into this industry because he's just making it a fun event, just like what Snoop Dogg said. And so I think that fun factor is so important.
Yep.
It's so valuable.
We have so many things in life that we either have to do or halfway have to do, like that are just not fun. There's so many things that you just have to do to get through life that are just part of life that just suck. They're not fun to do, you know? And so, yeah, like asking someone to be a part of something that's not fun is tough, you know? I think that to be completely honest, like I feel like Nouns faces a little bit of that challenge. You know, I think that some of the sub communities like Food Nouns face these challenges where it's like the second that you want to do really good things and you want to create public infrastructure and be kind of when you want to be the backbone, sometimes the backbone is not always necessarily like the crazy arms and legs flailing around. It's the backbone. And so, you know.
But Nouns, like through their funding, could like fund an event like this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like we're.
I think you're talking specifically about like voting.
We're voting and just, you know, having to read things or having to like.
You don't think that's fun?
I mean, a lot of people don't want to have, honestly.
No, I know,
don't.
but it's interesting. Well, but there's so many different versions of fun.
Right, exactly.
And there are people that get really excited about
But Gary
governance.
is really, honestly, going down this path of like hyper positive characters. And
I love it.
And you get to come to an event. And so, like, it doesn't really get easier to understand than that. Like, you don't have to vote on anything. You literally... And you may not get to go to an event every month. Like it's just
shows
once a year.
You gotta like
come have a great time.
I definitely feel like it's the best way for onboarding because it's the simplest.
Yeah.
Like this is exactly what you're getting with your NFT. You get to come to this conference once a year.
Well, like
it's gonna be awesome. And so like then he gets to really focus on that as well.
Well, let's say VeeCon cost $1 million to produce. And let's say they make more than that, like they make a profit or something. I would assume, right, or whatever. Who knows? But let's just say it's $1 million. Like Nouns could literally do that. You know, we could literally do a stadium, hotels, booking things. You know,
well,
like custom website.
A group could do it through Nouns. A group could do it through Nouns.
Very good point.
Someone could propose. It's just so different. And I think that's why when we start talking
but
about like DAOs.
my point though is that like we need to look at things that are happening like this and see what it's actually doing to proliferate. It's huge.
Well, and like
this
see
is only
the value
the second
of,
year.
Well, and to see the value of like IRL events, it's so important.
Hugely important.
Presence for communities at these events is very valuable and very, very, very important.
It's one of the only ways that the trust can be developed amongst builders.
Well, and I think like that was like my whole vision for Nouns on the Ground is like to start introducing this to a community that is very governance focused, but like to show people that like, hey, I've gone out to these events. I'm handing out Noggles. We're getting people excited about DAOs and governance and utility and CC0 and,
well, even look at
on-chain art and stuff too. And like, I just felt like for Nouns on the Ground, it's really important that like this process and phase happens so that like Nouns, someone can come to Nouns and say, hey, we want to throw a Noun Con that holders can go to. And like, yes, I think like, but this like stage of people like incorporating Nouns into their own current like NFT and crypto events like is very, very important for the proliferation part.
Yes, but the thing of it is, though, is that proliferation means growth. Proliferation means talking to people outside of your ecosystem. You can be the best at talking to people inside your ecosystem. That doesn't mean that you're going to grow, and it doesn't mean that you're going to like hit marks. And so what it does mean when you focus internally is that when you do find someone, then the things that they come and they find are amazing, and then they get, you know, it's a very sticky ecosystem where people get stuck in it and they go down rabbit holes and there's all these really cool things to learn about. But you know, on the other side of it, on the proliferation side, like look at how, okay, so this is like, I think the second VeeCon, and it
is the second
it's
VeeCon.
already like going kind of exponentially. You know, we're just one example of like, okay, so it was big enough to attract our attention, and it was outwardly facing enough to attract our attention. So now we're here, literally sitting here next to the thing, talking about it, and there's an amazing lesson
like we're
in
just
that.
one platform, we're just one live stream, and we're talking about it.
But we're new to it, and then someone else will be new to it next year, and then someone else will be new to it the year after that. And it is because it's in real life. It is because,
which is so important.
You can come and actually do the, you know, go eat at a restaurant. You have to schlep your luggage. You have to, you know, make sure your Uber is hooked up. You have to do things, but like beyond that, like there's this amazing, rich experience in these IRL events, and I really think that Gary, probably honestly, it's more. NFT NYC is an amazing experience that I personally really, really like. I think they do a good job with that, and I think that you do get to have this great experience in New York. I do think that Gary is kind of topping that a little bit. I think he's really, really showing what like a brand and a community
but it's
can
different.
do.
It's different. It's different. Like NFT NYC is like all of the industry.
Right.
Like this is for V
That's
friends
true.
only. This is just for holders. And
Right.
so it's a really cool experience because like we're getting to witness what it's like
Right.
when one community does a 3-day event for just their community.
That's a good point.
And just their community in the sense of if you have a V Friends, you get airdropped this ticket. And so we don't own V Friends, but we purchased these tickets on a secondary market to be able to come here. I also won a free ticket. Shout out to Vayner3 because I had answered a question like, what does
What was the question?
what is like the hope of Web3 or something? Or
What was your
I forget
answer?
what it was. I have to like look it up. But I said that decentralized communities were the hope of Web3.
I love that.
And like those growing, because you know I'm a big community growing person too. So, but the whole point being like it is only for holders of this event. And so the other thing of why it's valuable for us to be kind of introducing nouns to people at these events is because there's not a large enough holder base in nouns right now to get everybody to come to one single event if it was just nouns holders. I think that's why if an event happened within nouns too, that was like a very heavily sponsored nouns event. I first of all think that like nouns needs to be going to IRL events and sponsoring ones. That's why I'm very excited about the NFT Brazil prop that is up. It's so important to continue to do that and to be a presence at these already existing events. But I think that if nouns did throw like their own sort of like festival, like type of VeeCon situation, like it would have to be like maybe holders get in free, but then like other communities are invited. Like it's not just for nouns, like it could be like more education based and be nounish speakers and like all that kind of stuff. And like really put a priority on anyone that's a holder, like getting to participate in some way or
Well, you know what a really easy way to do something like that would be, okay, let's say we're going to have this event on this date in this particular city or whatever. Like you could use Prop House. Someone could put a prop on chain, fund, 100 ETH or whatever the number into rounds of prop houses that could just facilitate, similar to how you did with Nouns on the Ground, but that could just facilitate that party or that like event. That could be really, and that could draw, and you could even go one step further and say, this is for Pudgy Penguins to come and do something. This is for, Clone X to come do something. And you could have almost like 10 different houses going at the same time. I don't know.
Cool.
Prop House for me is just like, if there isn't something just like staring you in the face to house.
Yep. And hey, shout out to all event style people, anyone in production. If you want to start putting together an idea for like a big nouns event, that would be really awesome. But
yeah,
I think right now, like the focus should definitely be on continuing to support people who are in the nouns ecosystem that are running around doing IRL things and going to these conferences and just having a presence there. Like it's super important. It'll continue to send like Nounish people out into the field to discover and see what a successful event looks like. Like, what do you need? Like, is it a stadium? Is it just a conference center? Like, who knows? Like, I think I love the stadium vibes. Like, that seems like way more like this, like, kind of inclusive, like, again, like how we were talking about, like this sporting event type of thing.
What's the one thing that we definitely have learned at these events? That they need water sponsors.
Yep, I'm sure there's going to be tons of water.
Gotta have a water sponsor.
I'm sure that there's going to be tons of water at this event. But
shout out Waterloo, our unofficial water sponsor for the day.
Definitely an important part of it for sure. It's like the water, food, the logistics, basically. Like, logistics is the only thing that matters for these events.
Like a place to sit down for people.
Yeah, because we already know that the sponsors are going to do their job when it comes to, like, you know, logos being up and the marketing experience that they're creating for people. But there definitely needs to be more of, and what I saw from that recap of last VeeCon and what I'm hoping to see at this event, there needs to be more of a focus on like
a human experience.
Yeah. Like, what is
I saw cornhole.
So fun. Like games, food, like all that kind of stuff. Like, you want to provide like just a fun space for people. Otherwise, like, if your only focus is like, okay, what am I marketing to these people the second they walk through the door? And like, am I just creating a pure marketing experience? Because like that will feel old and not fun to people like very fast.
Where did we have the puppy rooms? There was a puppy room in London.
That was at NFT NYC last year.
Okay, that's right.
And they do a great job too. And it's a little bit more of like it does feel like more of like a conference focus, but that's great. Like, we need all of these different types of events. We need concert events. We need games events. We need like conference hall events with people coming and like leaders and like more from the business side. We need more leaders from the tech side. We need more leaders from like the pop culture musician side. Like, there is room for all of these events, and I think like that's like the main point to be made.
I mean, I don't hate to say it, but it's something that a lot of crypto people have trouble saying is we need people from the banking sector. We need people from like
to better understand what's happening so they can be included and not like, that's why I think like the one interview I got with
and frankly we need people from the government.
Yep, that's like the one interview that I got with the French Minister of Technology at NFT Paris was super important to me, because we want to continue, and like the two questions I asked were really around like, you know, they are not regulating, but they're at the same time of talking about regulations, also saying, okay, but how are we going to support the innovation part of all of this? And so like those two conversations have to happen together. Whereas, you know, as we can observe kind of just in the normal news, mainstream news of our country, of the US, like it's all conversations happening around just regulation. So they are not seeing, or I don't know if that's like by choice, if they're choosing not to see this, but they're not seeing these things that we talk about, which is like this innovation or like this like IRL events that are happening, or
you know,
or
what
people
they're
coming
seeing.
in and like meeting each other, and artists and stuff too. Like I feel like they're missing the innovation part on all of it, the tech, on the user experience, on the human experience.
Let's be honest. The thing that they're seeing is the shitcoin that we talked about earlier. That's what they're seeing.
Well, and I don't want to like continue to talk about that, but
that's why those things are a problem, because it distracts from.
I know, but like those things have always been a problem. Like things like are scams. I'm not saying that one is, and I don't, you know.
Yeah, who knows?
Want to say that? No, but what I'm saying is like their regulations are coming from people like losing money, like scams like this happening and stuff too, like the SEC and like pump and dumps and everything that they've done in Wall Street to sort of like make it a safe buying environment for people. But they're going to have to really approach this differently. It's different. Like communities can form overnight, as we've seen from that.
For me, the number one easiest distinction to understand is governance. Like if there's a way to use this thing to do something, then the item that you're asking your community to purchase is basically like a wooden nickel. It's your vote somewhere. Like you can literally.
Yeah, that's why governance is utility.
We had a 3-hour conversation the other day, and price was never mentioned, right? And people were like, "Holy shit! Like how is this happening?" Like I've never been on a Twitter space in crypto where literally no one said the word price for 3 hours, and you're like, yeah, we don't need to talk about that because there's actually things happening here.
Yes, exactly. It's really incredible to see that. I hope that like our U.S. lawmakers can have conversations. And I also know that it's going to be up to people like, not that the man hasn't already done enough, but like it will be up to people like Gary Vee, I think, like going to Washington to be like, hey, here's like this innovation that's happened. Like we need more like lobbying from the positive perspective. Like honestly, Gary would be like the perfect person for us to like send off to Washington to be like, can you please make a case?
He really
for
would,
us?
because then someone who tried to like overtalk him, he would literally tell him to fuck off, and then he would be like, and he would like explain himself in like a really great way.
I don't even think like he would say that at all.
Well, no,
like,
I'm just saying that he's not afraid to tell someone you're wrong.
Yeah, no, well, not even wrong. No, that's so like not even his approach. His approach is like, this is what's working.
This is happening.
This is happening right now.
This
like,
is happening.
I'm an entrepreneur, like, and it's from that whole perspective too. And I think that until we can get some really awesome, positive voices in the community to kind of go to Washington and make a case for the innovation side of everything, we will be stuck in a place where everyone's kind of just like waiting to see what happens, like with the regulation side of it all. But I do
That's above
see
our pay
a
grade,
bright
Aubtoshi.
future with it, and I will be continuing to like watch very closely to see what people are doing as far as like the lawmaking side of it all too, because like I'm not scared of the word regulations. I think that those are necessary to sort of stop other things that are kind of like going on, but I feel like in that simultaneously the conversation needs to be about, but what are we doing to not stifle innovation and to actually support it? So I'm really excited to continue to see that. And hey, this is, I guess, my official sponsorship of I'm nominating Gary Vee to go to Washington to help lobby for NFTs and crypto. We are coming to a close here in the last final minutes. We are live Indianapolis, Indiana for VeeCon. We are so excited. The opening event is tonight, so we are going to get ready as soon as the stream's over to go to
Rhymes
that.
in the house.
Busta Rhymes is here. I'm so excited, and I'm really excited to get to experience in person this fun event that Gary and the whole VeeFriends team have put on. Shout out to you guys. It is not an easy feat to pull off something like this. I think a lot of times when something just happens, people could just be like, wow, it was just so seamless that they just accept it, that it was done that way. But like, it takes so much time and effort and work and planning and logistics. Shout out to all of the VeeFriends team that even touched any part of this. You guys have already done an amazing job of building a really cool, like long-standing community vibe. And I really look forward to kind of going to this event and feeling that in person. I definitely see it online all the time. It's going to be awesome to meet more of you VeeGens, you VeeFriends, D-Gens.
I'm stoked. I'm
so
ready.
Fun.
I think we need to eat lunch, but then we'll be ready.
Yes, eat lunch. I got a shower. I'm feeling just like, oh.
You're a VeeGen.
We all know I was karaokeing last night, so I am maybe just like a brand new VeeGen right now.
I have footage, folks. Don't worry. I have footage.
Thank you guys, as always, for
singer.
tuning in with us Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 10 to 12 p.m. PST, but this time we are on East Coast time. So it's been a 1 to 3. It will continue to be that this week.
We'll be on French time next week.
Yes, we will. And we'll talk about that a little bit on the other streams coming up. Thank you guys so much for being with us. We love you guys. We love doing this stream, talking all things NFTs, DAOs, crypto, people, places, and things from around the world. This has been Nouns on the Air with Aubtoshi.
High five, Aubtoshi.
High five.
High five.
Good job, Cheffo. We will see you guys